episode 11 of the Medellin podcast today. We have Jaclyn talking about her family today. We do it our way. We don't give a fuck what they say. Episode 11 of the Medellin podcast today. Got Jason on the Jackson. What are we drinking today?
Sangria.
Some sangria.
Sangria!
And a bit of alacran.
That's all, folks.
Bravo.
All right. Let's get this.
Well done.
It only took all day to practice.
I taught them everything they know.
All right, it's episode 11 of the Medellin podcast. Thank you for joining us, whether you're listening or watching on YouTube, on Spotify, on Google Podcast, or on Apple Podcast, right?
Yep, you got that right.
Yep, my name is Andrew Messia from the Medellin Buzz and Red Door Studios.
And my name is Joel Duncan, and I'm from all over the world.
Joel, what are you wearing today?
Well, I don't really think that what I'm wearing really matters. It's a statement piece. But I want to point this out because I've been working on this for 11 episodes, and I think I got
Describe that for our listeners. They don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Is this like a curtsy, or what do you call this, Jaclyn? What do you call it?
I think that's just the way you're sitting.
That's the way I'm sitting.
Yeah.
So just in case you guys know, I'm taking this shit to the next level with this. Welcome back. And over here today we have the beautiful and talented
Jaclyn Kilani.
Okay, and how is that spelt? The first part.
Oh gosh. Okay, this is something a lot of people have trouble with, so
Okay.
I'm gonna go slow.
Okay.
It's Jaclyn. There's no Q's or K's anywhere in that name.
And your last name?
Kilani.
Kilani.
Kilani. Kilani with a
Kilani.
K.
That's a cool last name.
Thank you.
It almost sounds Hawaiian.
It's not really mine. It's actually my husband gave it to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's Al Kilani. It's actually an Arabic name.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a weird long story, but he grew up in Colombia and he's like half Colombian, but
Okay.
yeah, so it's an Arabic last name.
Don't worry, we're getting to
We're
him.
going to get to that. We're going to get to you, Al Kilani.
Al Kilani.
Well, today, what are we drinking today, Joel?
Yeah, before we go too much further, Jaclyn's request was sangria, and the boys here in the office made this sangria from red wine Lambrusco.
And it's delicious.
And a
It's
whole
good.
bunch of locally grown fruits, because we only do local here. We only support local. And this is basically what Jaclyn's going to be drinking. Andrew and I, we're going to be keeping things real with the alacran tequila. I guess, yeah, it has to be from Mexico. So every now and then, we're going to take a shot of this because Jaclyn needs to finish all of this. I think her friends would be very proud of her, right? If she gets through this.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's what we're drinking today.
And before we get to the topic, I'd like to give a shout out to Rob LaFond and his clothing line, because he hooked me up with a hat today.
Yeah.
And he hooked me up with this shirt, the Medellin shirt. It's kind of cool, right?
I've seen those around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the hat and
those are cool.
everything. It's cool. And I got also like a tank top because we are going to Mexico next
Where
week.
we will be filming some episodes also.
Yeah, we'll do at least an episode
Filming.
over there with one
Yeah.
of the Medellin All-Stars, Kyle.
Uh-huh.
So today's topic is, well, it's a varied topic,
Yeah.
but first of all, we're going to talk about having a family, being a foreigner, right, and being a female, and also raising a family in Colombia.
Yeah.
You're also married to a Colombian, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess we'll start off with the first question, Joel. Go ahead.
Well, the thing we ask everyone is, why the hell are you here? How did you end up here? You said we jumped the gun a little bit. You're married to a Colombian, and we said we're going to get to him. But how did you end up here the first time? When was your first trip here, and when did you decide to stay and settle?
Okay, so when I married Firas, my husband, he always said eventually he wanted to move back. He loved Colombia. It was amazing. He wanted to show it to me, and I am an army brat, so I've always moved around. So that didn't scare me. I was like, yeah, I'm open to that idea. So the first time we went was the year we got married in 2008, and
Okay.
I loved it from the first time I came. I love his family. His whole family's here,
Okay.
and the culture, the food, the music. I loved it. So we came back several times.
So the first year you got married, you came here?
Yes.
For the first time, okay.
Yeah, that was
And-
the first time.
Where were you guys living before you guys came here?
We met in Los Angeles and got married in Los Angeles. Yeah.
That's cool. I'm from I'm from near LA. I'm from Orange County.
Oh,
What
it's
part
kind of
of
like
LA?
it's all like that whole area is kind
Yeah,
of
it's
the
like-
same.
yeah.
It's the same thing.
Well, although Orange County is kind of like way slower than LA. LA is more fun. I would say LA is more fun.
Yeah, I mean, technically, if you want to be technical, we lived in Burbank, so I don't know if you can
Yeah.
really call it LA, but it was,
Burbank's awesome.
It's the San
It's
Fernando
cool.
Valley.
Yeah, San Fernando Valley. So I guess you guys met in LA as well.
Yes, we met there and dated and got married there and had our babies there, and then we came here.
Oh, well,
For
you
good.
just messed up all my questions.
Oh,
I'm over
sorry.
here thinking
Okay.
that.
I
No.
jumped the gun.
Again,
I jumped
it's
the
a good
gun.
thing. You see, this is how we know.
Good.
We always say this when we meet people. When we get on this show with them, we find out more about them than in the entire history before getting to the show.
Yes.
So for some reason, I thought that you met him here and in a salsa bar, and then he did the 3 turns and you fell in love
No.
or dizzy or some shit. And
That
next thing
would
you
have
know,
been
you guys got a baby.
super hot. That would have
Okay,
been
it
really.
wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Wait, so how did you guys meet then?
It's way more boring than Joel's story. Can we
Yeah.
stick with his story? I kind of like
Yeah.
that one
Okay, I
better.
like that story.
I'm just
I know
kidding, no.
Tinder didn't exist back in 2008. That was a beautiful year for me. It's the year I lost my virginity.
Okay.
2008.
28 years old. I'm joking. That's not the truth. But anyways, but no, I wanted to make some shit up about 2008. But honestly, I legitimately thought that you married a Colombian guy here in Colombia. So
No, actually,
Okay.
what happened was we were both studying and working through college in Los Angeles,
Yeah.
and we happened to both work in the same restaurant
Okay.
as we were,
Okay.
working our way through college.
Cool.
So he was the busboy and I was the waitress.
so wait, college
No,
sweethearts.
we were college. Yeah, it was college days.
sweetheart. Wow.
Yeah, so
That's
we.
amazing.
That's actually a pretty cool story, though. I mean, it's almost like something you see in a movie, right?
It was
Bus
kinda like
boy,
that,
The
yeah.
foreign bus boy.
Yeah.
He was he
He's a
always had a
foreign bus-
big, that Spanish accent.
Oh.
And it's kind of funny because I had just gotten out of another relationship when I met him. And I was like, okay, no more guys. I'm not dating. I'm going to focus on school, my
Yeah.
career. I'm done. And
Yeah.
then, he walks up and he's like, hey, you want to go out sometime? And I'm like, well, no, I'm not interested in dating right now. I had this whole line laid out.
Planned out.
And he's like, well, you're new here, you're new to LA, you don't have any friends, let's just hang out as friends, it doesn't have to be like that.
Smooth Latino, of course.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
2 years
Wow.
later, we were married, so that was
Oh,
that.
wow.
Where's my
Oh, wait,
notes?
wait, you
I
said
need
you
to be
said-
taking notes.
Yeah. Let's just be friends. No, I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
you're
it
not gonna
didn't
use
work.
that.
You're new
It-
here.
it
But wait,
didn't
you
work.
said he said you're new to California, to Burbank.
I was new to the state. I was
The
new
state.
to the whole.
And where were you before? Where are you from?
Well, I'm an Army brat, so I'm
Okay.
from a lot of places. But I was born in Arkansas, so you could say that I'm from Arkansas. I'm from the
Okay.
South. I'm a Southern
Bill
girl.
Clinton
Okay.
State.
Yeah, that's yeah.
What do you mean? Well, you're not gonna get into politics yet
No,
on this
let's-
show, but yeah, Bill Clinton State's cool. He didn't inhale,
So,
right?
That's what they say.
I got another question. Did you date other Latinos before your husband, or was he your first Latino?
No, he was my first Latino.
Yeah.
In Arkansas, there's not too many of those.
Yeah.
But or in
Bad people?
all
The bad
all the other
people?
places,
No,
all
the
the other
bad
places that
hombres.
I lived.
Yeah.
But I will say that I've always been attracted to the tall, dark, and handsome type guy.
Okay.
Dark hair, dark eyes. So
Yeah.
he's my type. But he was the first
You
Latin.
see,
man.
I took that. I was gonna take that, and it was like I was blushing and shit until she said dark hair, and I'm like, God damn it, I'm dark-eyed, tallish.
I think you fit the profile.
Dark eyebrow.
Yeah, this was dark eyebrow hair. Yeah, shit. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, and so, yeah, we always spin this thing to dating because I've always liked everything that I'm not, both racially, culturally, whatever it is. I like to discover new things. I don't want to talk about all the things in common we have. I prefer to talk about the things, what makes us different. Now, what did you think? So you didn't date another Latino guy before him.
No.
Did you notice a difference with dating and call it a Colombian Latino guy there in California versus all the dating that you've done before?
Oh, totally.
What is
Yeah,
that? What was that? What's the
100%.
difference?
I mean, American guys are they're kind of reserved and they think they have to be tough or something. I don't know. They're kind of cold. I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah.
And Latin men are very affectionate and loving and open, and they tell you how they feel.
Like Andrew.
Well, maybe I don't know Andrew
Well,
enough.
It's shot time.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
So it's shot time.
I'm just gonna
you
have
get that? You take a sip.
A deep sip, Jaclyn. Your husband is at home taking care of those babies. You don't have to worry.
Yeah, you don't have to worry.
I know like the hangover might last till midday. He's got you covered. Yeah.
Well, like I tell most people, I'm a coconut. I'm brown on the outside, white on the inside.
Wow.
I was raised in California for almost 30 years, so I've got that California, like Southern California guy type personality. Although I am Latino and I grew up with a Colombian family, I still do the whole affectionate, mushy thing. I'm not like Joel. I don't have a problem holding hands in public and kissing in public and walking down the street with my girl holding her hand.
Jesus, that just made me really nervous and like really weak
girls
in my
like
heart.
it.
But I also I'm not very big on like talking about feelings and stuff. But I don't know. That could just be guys. Some guys have that same problem.
But I don't know. Our Latinos, maybe I think Latinos pour it out. They may cry every now and then. You know, like maybe more criers. I don't know. I've never dated a Latino
as
man.
I get older.
Vito's not a crier, but he would say things.
He's not a crier. How do you have a shot with this thing?
I'm sorry.
He would say things. I want to hear some of these things.
But he would say things that I didn't think people really said in real life. Like I would think he was joking. Like I would think that he was making fun of me. Like he would like compliment my eyes and my beauty and things, and I would be like,
Like, come on.
Oh, you're serious? Oh, thank you. You know,
No, but it is amazing.
But it totally like swept me off my feet. Like I never saw it coming.
Yeah.
And so Latin men have no problem just laying it all out there, and I don't even know, sometimes it might not even be true, but the way they talk and it's all flowery and sweet and
the Latin lover thing. I honestly think it's very cultural because we talked about it before. You see guys here in Medellin at least walking around holding their mom's hand through the mall the entire time. Yes. And I think their moms, and when I listen to Latin moms, and this doesn't, well, not Latin, Colombian moms at least I'm going to say, they'll say like really sweet things to their kids and stuff. And I know my mom loves me really deeply. But I never used to hear that type of stuff. Yeah. And I'm not accustomed, like you'd hear the guys even talking to their moms, they'd say really, really sweet things.
Yeah.
So they practice saying that stuff. And I think like in Canada, the US, and again, for those of you who are very Latin, but you're from the States and stuff, my apologies. But I think we are very conservative and reserved because it's like a sign of weakness if we're too it's almost like you can't do that. Like you don't want your friends to hear you like that because they think they'll point and laugh.
Yes, exactly.
Here people won't point and laugh, you know?
They won't. They think it's sexy.
Yeah. And I mean that's great. One day I'll be Latino. I'm training.
Yeah, it's been 9 years.
It's been 9 years.
And it is sweet the way they are with their families. I mean, I fell in love with his family from the beginning. From the time I came here. I mean, they're amazing. So it's a beautiful thing. The Latin family is one of the main reasons I'm here. Is because I love that.
And how long? The thing is, you came in 2008. My virginity year, and you continue to come for how long until you settle down?
Let's see, we came in 2008 and we continued to come like every 1 or 2 years until we made the big move. So 2014 was the year of the big move.
And what caused that? What made you move from just visiting to we're gonna, shut down shop and come here?
Well, we had talked about it ever since, like I said, he had told me from the beginning, like, someday I want to live in Colombia again. I love my country. And so I had always had it in the back of my mind, and I enjoyed it coming here so much. So we had always kind of talked about it, but nobody really made any decisions until we had the kids.
Okay.
And so I was working from home ever since I had my first child in 2011. Okay. I was working from home. Didn't want to leave her in daycare. And it was just really hard with one. It's hard to work from home with a kid because they're just all over you. They don't let you work, right? Yep. And then on top of that, I'm at home. He's working all day. I'm trying to clean the house. I'm trying to do everything. I can work and take care of the baby and clean the house and do all this stuff. It's impossible. Yeah. And then came baby number 2.
Wow.
And I was like, I can't either. I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Yep.
or we move to Colombia and I get some help, because obviously ain't nobody in the United States paying for a nanny unless they're on a six-figure income. So I was like, I can't do this. Either I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom, or we're going to go to Colombia and make a different kind of life for ourselves, because this is not a quality of life that I'm happy with. Okay. And so he was like, well, okay. And then we just kind of did it.
You did it.
Yeah. Awesome. So you guys moved down here. I guess a question that maybe other people would have, it just came up to me. What was it like? Because I'm assuming he has family here, right?
Oh, yeah. Big one.
Yeah. So what was that like? Was that like a big culture clash to you, or what was that experience like meeting the family here?
It was weird, maybe just because I had to live with his mom when I first came here, and so but it wasn't totally unpleasant. She's so sweet and accommodating, and she always wanted to make sure I was comfortable, and and his grandma would like chop fruit for me in the morning and bring it to me on a plate, and I was like, you don't have to do that, Doña Ruth. Like that's okay.
And you spoke Spanish then, by the way?
Oh, not as much. I do now. Okay. When I first came here, I spoke maybe high school level Spanish, so no.
Yeah, which is very low. I remember high school.
High school level
so
Spanish.
I kind of could understand maybe 30% of what people were saying to me, and I was not speaking it that well. I speak Spanish now. But yeah, so I was living in the household with his grandma, his mom, and his sister. Yeah. And I didn't speak the greatest Spanish, or really much Spanish at all. So that was weird trying to communicate. But they were just so sweet to me and accommodating, and tried to make sure I was happy and comfortable, and so it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
No, I was gonna say that no ex's parent of mine in Canada chopped fruit for me. That's for damn sure. But that's sort of a lie. But I dated a girl that was half German, half Chinese, and the first time I met her parents, she lived in Vancouver. We touched down, and her mom came and greeted us, and I think it was the sweetest thing, because I'm not accustomed to parents being really nice to me in Canada. And I remember we were there, and she's like, oh, and she gives me this big warm hug, and I'm like, wow, she's hugging me. That's really weird in comparison to the last ex.
That takes some getting used to.
She pops the trunk, and she's like, come here, come around, and there are two massive I don't know what the drink was, with the little umbrella in it, and the coconut and all that stuff. She's like, this is for you guys.
In the trunk?
In the trunk. She had it there waiting for us when we got out, and she's like, welcome to Vancouver Island.
Oh, wow.
And she gave me and gave my girl, and that was the sweetest thing. But yours is on a daily basis.
Every single day.
I don't think most people in the US and Canada would even imagine the in-law or whoever it is doing that when they're sort of new to the family.
Well, it's you don't even know how to handle it. You're just like, oh, you don't have to do that. You feel guilty. Don't treat me like this. But no, it was really nice.
So how long did you live with the in-laws?
3 months.
3 months, and then you guys got your own place, and
yeah, we already had bought it before.
Oh, okay.
So
then you could finally kiss again.
Yeah, we could finally kiss again. That's the truth.
So you bought it before?
We bought it before. We had been thinking okay, if we don't move soon enough, then we'll just buy it, and maybe we'll rent it out or something. But no, we just moved.
And what area was that? What area of the city did you buy in?
Envigado.
In Envigado, and you still live there.
Great place.
We still live there.
I love that place.
I love Envigado.
I love Envigado.
It's nice. It's super chill.
I would love for my parents to come down here and retire, and I think Envigado would be the perfect place for them to be, because it's flat. There's things to do. During December, it's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess my next question is about your kids. So how old are your kids?
5 and 8.
5 and 8, and they go to school here.
Oh yeah.
And how, in your opinion, or I guess in your experience, what has been the experience with the school system in Colombia?
I love it. It's great. I mean, well, for one thing, we're in a Waldorf school, and I don't.
What is a Waldorf school?
Waldorf is this sort of philosophy that it was invented in Germany, of all places, and it's all over the world now. But it's this whole philosophy of you play while you learn, and the kids need to be outdoors and in nature, and it's this really it's very different.
Does not sound like my school.
Yeah, no, it's nothing like.
Kids did not need to play.
It's nothing like how I grew up either. I never went to any school that was nearly this cool.
Okay.
And so, granted, my school's a little different because there's a lot of Colombian schools that are not like that. But most schools here are really good, even though, whether they're really academic or the Waldorf school that we go to, they're super, super well organized, and I don't know, they're just I feel like they try harder here, but granted, these are private schools.
Okay, so you're paying more than obviously the public school.
Is not an option here.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's
Why
not
is that?
an
Why is it not an option?
I
Like
mean,
let's say a group, a family wanted to come down here and they're like, yeah, we don't want to pay for the private school, which, yeah. Anyways, they probably shouldn't be coming here if you can't.
yeah, you can't
do that.
Yeah, we'll get on that in a minute.
Yeah. Why not the public school?
Okay, granted, I never had my kids in a public school here, so I don't have a personal experience.
Yeah.
But when we first got here, I had asked his family, when we were thinking about the schools, what about public school? Like, what's wrong? And they're like, no, public schools here are terrible. It's all run by the government. They're not organized.
Okay.
It's just, they're kind of messy and they're just not nice. They're not very, I don't know the right way to say it, but they're not very well put together. They're not very nice schools. So.
They don't have a good reputation even I'm a local, right? And what you're saying is exactly
what his family told me.
Yeah, exactly. And also a lot of public schools have the reputation that only bad kids go there.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's
So
the
that's the
reputation.
stigma here.
You went to private school?
Sorry.
Yes, I did.
You're not a bad kid.
He went to private though.
You're actually pretty. Oh, you went to private?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, most people, even if it's like,
Dang.
I feel like most people, even if they're like lower middle class,
Yeah.
if they can, they
Yeah.
send their kids to private.
Actually, it's kind of fucked up because you would get threatened as a child, like, oh, you keep this up, I'm gonna put you on public school. Yep.
That's so sad. Wow.
Yeah.
That's the reputation here. Like I said, I don't have personal experience with it, but that's what I'm
And
told.
what does that cost? I mean, if you don't mind, I mean, a lot of people don't like discussing money, that we've learned in the first 10 episodes. But what does a person coming here, what should they expect to pay for one child? And do you get a group discount because you have two?
5%.
5% off?
Yeah.
Winning.
winning.
Some Charlie Sheen shit.
I was
right there.
expecting a little bigger.
5%.
Yeah, 5%.
Woo!
I
Come
was
on.
kind of like,
Come on.
Like switching to Geico and shit.
She's like, I gotta have another baby so I
Yeah,
can get 20%.
yeah. 27.
That's okay. That's all right.
7 for the 3.
No, okay, so we're not in like the most expensive school because there's some very, very expensive.
What is the most expensive?
Really?
Columbus is probably
Columbus.
up there. Columbus School, Vermont School, Cumbres. Those are all very elite. They're very, very expensive schools.
Yeah.
Ours, so there might be like I don't know, between $1.5 million. So I don't know how to.
$1.5 million. That's like 460 US dollars.
To $2 million a month per kid.
So about
So
4 to
5.
550. Anywhere
Yeah.
between 450 to 550.
Yeah, and anybody
per
who's
kid.
listening in the United States is gonna be like, well, it's really cheap. No, it's
Yeah.
not. It's not cheap.
It's not cheap
So-
if you're here.
If you're here, yeah. After you're here for any amount of time, you'll notice that
No,
that's pretty
that's
expensive.
so
Yeah.
expensive.
Most people can't afford that.
So yeah, we pay for both kids together. We pay like $1.7 million per month, and that's both kids together. It's not including the bus, but yeah, that's.
But that's still.
$1.7
I mean, if
million.
somebody's earning money outside and let's say they're making decent money outside, $500 to have your kids at a babysitter, a school, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it, all day, for a month for $500 for two of them. With that 5% discount.
No, that's
by
really
the way.
good. It's a good
It's a
price.
pretty. It's a pretty
not
good
bad.
deal.
It's
Okay.
not bad at all. I don't like our school is affordable for what it is. I mean, for
Okay.
everything that we get out of it and how happy our kids are. I mean, they have like gardening class.
Wow.
And my kids learning how to crochet and play
I
the
love
flute.
that shit.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
go. I want to go there now.
it's-
Andrew, let's send Andrew to
It's
school.
amazing. Like my kid's coming home with, she's like, "Oh, I have some homework. I need to crochet this thing," and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
"Okay." But so for what they're getting, I feel like it's not a bad price.
And is it bilingual or what are they learning?
No, it's not bilingual. But my kids are already bilingual, so it's like.
Oh, they speak English at home, or?
Yeah.
So wait, what about those English? Like Columbus is what all English or English and
Bilingual.
Spanish?
They're bilingual, but most of the day I think they're speaking English.
So that's why it probably costs more too.
That's one reason
That's
it
one
costs
reason.
more.
The teachers probably cost more and everything else.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And-
So your kids are like fluent in both.
Oh yeah,
Lucky
100%.
bastards.
I know, right?
Yeah,
That's,
that's
that's
right.
what
Did
I
they ever
say.
make fun of your accent?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. that's
My
what-
daughter loves to correct me, like,
Oh yeah.
"Mommy, así no se dice."
Ah, yeah.
That's not how you say that, Mommy.
Maybe I should get some kids so they can correct my Spanish.
Yeah.
That's a great reason, isn't it? Yeah. And for the 5% discount.
The
Get
5%
two this
discount.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're looking at about $500 for a non-bilingual school, private school.
Yes.
And anywhere. Do you have any idea what Columbus School and those others?
We went to Cumbres and asked around. That's not as expensive as Columbus, but they told us it was like $1,200,000 per kid, I think is what they told us.
Okay.
And then there's one called Aleman that's kind of out in the country.
Yeah, I think
and
I've seen that.
that one's like $2 million a month per kid.
Per kid.
Yeah.
Wow. So there's people out here spending money.
Yeah, there's people out here.
Yeah, there's some rich Colombians.
I've got another question. I mean, I know Joel's story when he was a kid. He was bullied because he went from Guyana to Canada to go to school, right? So
I didn't know
he
that.
traveled from Guyana to
Not Ghana, by the way, motherfuckers.
Guyana,
It's two different places. Ghana is Africa, Guyana is South America. Beside Brazil, know your motherfucking
two
geography
Guyanas.
before you like, the podcast with the Colombian Oreo.
Yo, you gotta
what
shut
the
up
fuck you
though,
call
real
him.
quick. You know why?
What?
I didn't know what the fuck Guyana was until I met you.
Exactly, so I'm educating you and everybody else watching this motherfucker that Guyana is the only English-speaking country in South America. Although
English Guyana.
I feel super.
British Guyana.
I feel
English
super
Guyana.
ignorant right now. I had no idea.
This is not geography class, but I will give you guys.
Don't
if
worry,
you want
I
to message me and ask about Las Guyanas, I'll give you my motherfucking speech on that.
All right. On that note,
Cheers to Ghana.
Cheers to Ghana.
Cheers to
Wait,
Ghana.
I don't have a drink.
Oh shit.
I have
People
zero
just-
drinks.
Yeah, I can see
All
how
right.
that would be
Well,
irritating.
Well, so my question actually, because I know Joel's story, and he went from Guyana to Canada to go to school and live there, and he's told me some bad bullying stories.
From Guyana.
No, when he went to Canada. Obviously,
Oh.
he's like the only black guy in Canada.
Oh,
In
yeah, that
in
makes sense.
1990,
89,
1990,
me and shit.
1990,
that.
the
99,
only
90.
black guy in Canada in 1990.
Yeah.
And me, I was in California. I grew up in Southern California, so there's a lot of, and I went to public school. I didn't have.
There's a
no
little
private
bit of everything in California.
And Andrew was a bully, by the way. We're not going to get
And
into that, yeah.
school. No, I was just gonna say that. Wow, that alacran hit me hard.
So good. So good.
So good, yeah. I was a bully, but I didn't bully people because they were different. I actually fought kids. I was always in trouble. I always fought kids that were fighting other kids. I'd go out and find the bully and try to beat him up.
You're like the motherfucking Latino
So you were
Batman.
you were the superhero.
I
Yeah,
was the
that's what I'm
Batman.
saying.
I swear to
Yeah,
God.
the Latino. You said
Yeah.
it way better
Respect.
than me.
Respect. Yeah. So, on that note, have your kids, because obviously they're different. They speak two languages. They come from a different family. Have you experienced any of that with your kids here?
No. Now, granted, the Waldorf school
Yeah.
it's a little different than your normal school, and I have heard some stories from other parents that have their kids in like the bilingual schools that are super elite and academic and they're for rich people or whatever. I've heard some stories there about like even the parents feeling kind of out of place and feeling like the other parents were making them feel,
Not accepted?
exactly.
Okay.
However, in our school, just the whole environment is just this sort of nurturing feel, and the teachers talk like this, and the whole thing is just so nice and sweet, and it's this nurturing environment, and they just don't cultivate, I don't think, an environment that allows bullying, or even that the kids would want to bully. It's just not.
Really?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's never happened.
Can they take their cell phones to school?
Not until they're probably in high school.
Okay, so they can't take cell phones.
I think the high school kids can.
Okay, and are you like an anomaly? Are you the only white American mom that walks in there, or
That I know of, yeah.
so are you part of so there's no secret society of just the American moms?
Oh, we have our secret society, but they all go to a different school. They don't go to my school.
Wait. What's the secret
What's the
society?
secret? Andrew might want to.
And are they single?
Ooh.
No. All my friends are moms, and most of them are married.
Moms doesn't mean that they're
Why
not
would
Okay.
single.
they?
Come
I
on,
guess
they're
why
called
would they-
single moms for a reason.
Most of
Jaclyn.
them are married. Yeah, no,
Okay.
I do have some single mom friends, but
Okay.
most of my friends are moms, and we have our own little group, a little Medellin International Moms, and
But you guys don't message on Facebook because that shit's not secure. You guys need a private line where with a little bit
That
of a
sounds like a
firewall
Facebook
and
group,
shit.
though. Medellin
yeah,
International
it's a
Moms.
Facebook group.
Medellin,
We're not that secret.
wait, Medellin
International
International
Moms.
Moms.
There you go.
Look that- I look over
it
here
up.
and I look
If
at these
you're a
boys.
mom.
These boys are doing friend requests
Oh,
to
really?
Medellin International
We
Moms.
got the audience.
Yeah.
We got
Yeah.
Michael and Jason in the audience, and they're
on
already
the chair.
There's like a set of
Sure.
questions.
There's
It's
a
not
set of
easy to get in there. It's very selective.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have our little group, but they don't go to our school. Our school's it's very hard to get into, and my husband my husband went there.
Yeah.
And he graduated
really?
from there.
Wow.
So my kids were a shoo-in. Like
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I went to
that's
my
awesome.
dad's high school too.
Yeah?
And it was crazy going back. But anyways, that's a long story.
Because, the teachers all know him. Not the old
Yeah.
teachers that are still there from forever ago. They
Yeah.
still know him and they know his kid. And it's kind of neat.
And and they probably think, wow, you are our most successful student. Look at your wife. You went abroad and you came
That's what I
back
like
with
to
a blonde
think. I don't know.
hair, blue-eyed, beautiful
Look
woman.
what you brought back. They
The only one in the school, by the
they
way.
bring her to
Yeah.
pep rallies.
Exactly. She's gonna champion her
Sí,
cause.
se puede.
Yeah.
No, it's funny because they kind of use my daughter, not like that, but
Yeah,
they'll
yeah.
use they'll like so that like one day the English teacher was absent,
Yeah.
so they brought my daughter to the 4th grade class to hold their English class for
That
them.
is amazing.
That's
Listen, on her
awesome.
resume, taught
See?
English class
Yeah.
in 4th grade.
In 4th grade, yeah.
You know, that's amazing.
But she
That's
was
amazing.
in 1st grade. They were in 4th grade.
What?
Yeah.
Because in Canada we used to have this thing called reading buddies. You
I
guys
had
have
that too.
here?
I had that in the
Reading
US.
buddies?
Yeah.
I had a reading buddy.
One of
You
army
didn't have a
folks.
reading buddy?
Wait, we're gonna talk about this army brat thing.
Yeah,
Your
Army
father,
brat. No,
mom,
they didn't
both
give
were-
us a reading buddy. What?
No?
No.
I
You
was
never
a
had a
reading
reading buddy?
No.
I never had a reading buddy that read to me. I used to read. Was I the buddy
You
or
were
was
the
I
reader.
the reader? I was the reader.
I was both. I was
That's my little
both.
buddies.
I was
I
both.
didn't. Nobody
Yeah.
ever told me about this.
Do Colombians
Yeah.
have
Reading
buddies?
buddies?
Do you guys
You ever
have
get-
like
you ever-
older kids come and read to you?
No, not even the teacher is.
Not even the teacher was your reading buddy.
That's sad.
Oh shit!
All right, no, he's exaggerating. He went to
No.
public school.
you're
Even
in private
then,
school.
even then, it was balls to the walls education. You learn or
Balls
learn.
to the walls, educate. Man, that's a good slogan for a school.
Okay, so wait, which private school is this? I don't know
Yeah,
about the
what is
balls
this
to the
school?
wall school.
That's their slogan, by the way.
Yeah.
Balls to the wall education.
BW, balls to the wall.
Oh yeah. What is that school?
I went to two different private schools. I went to how do you call this school? It was Salazar Herrera, and high school I went to one called Antares, which was a little different because usually schools here have like the 50 kids classroom and shit like that. I had that in primary school, but for high school I went to one that it only allowed a maximum of 25 kids per classroom. But I think that was just an excuse to have a small
school. They're like, we're very selective. We only have 25 students, but the place.
And it was like brand new. I was the third promotion of that
wow.
high school.
Cool.
Yeah.
You didn't turn out that bad.
Yeah, you didn't. And his English is actually pretty good. He's never lived abroad.
No?
Yeah, he's.
Oh no.
Oh, did you learn English in high school?
No,
no, I'm self-taught.
Pornhub.com. If you actually turn the volume up and listen to what people are talking about,
He doesn't even watch the porn. He just watches the beginning of the story.
Yeah. It's like, oh, let's introduce Kimmy. Let's introduce Brian.
Oh, no.
All right,
Who
fuck
ordered
her.
the pizza?
Yeah,
So he's got
yeah.
the good American accent.
Oh, is that where that word comes from?
Yeah.
All right, well, moving on.
Alrighty, right. So let's take this soup.
Cheers.
Soup.
Salud.
I should stop after this probably because this is gonna get sloppy. All right,
Well, we got some important questions, though. I mean, we talked about school.
Yeah.
We talked about you meeting your husband, and then you having babies, and then going to school here.
what
moving
about the
here.
breastfeeding in public? Did we talk about that? Did you breastfeed in public?
I don't. I haven't. Well, okay.
Oh, they weren't of age.
I've breastfed in public with like a cover thing.
Here in Colombia?
Yeah, but with a cover thing is all right.
Yeah, with a
I
cover
guess.
thing with like a little thing that you drape over the baby.
Do you find like breastfeeding is a more acceptable thing here or in the United States? I've been planning this the whole fucking week. So
Well,
let's talk
Joelle
about it.
does that
That
in
is such
public.
a deep question. It's like such a hot topic. In
It is a hot topic in the
Yeah,
United
it's,
States.
Well,
What is
really,
your
it's
take?
very
Well,
hot.
Joelle masturbates in public when he puts that thing over him. It's the same thing. But
Giving away my
back
secrets
up.
on this show is not fucking cool. Now I can't hang out at malls anymore. Tesoro, I'm done. No, but, yeah, what's your take? And you know why? Honestly, you know why I feel this is really it's a really important question or a valid question is that you've been out of the United States since 2014, right?
Yes.
Living. So I would think that the United States, I don't know if it's more conservative or less conservative in that level. My brothers and sisters are 11, 12 years older than me, younger than me, sorry. And that's how my mom fed my brothers and sisters. That's how I grew up. It was like normal to me.
It was, yeah.
So is it here? What do you think about that now that being here? Do you think that it's normal, not normal? Do you think people should do it more or less? What's your take?
I don't mind breastfeeding in public at all. And I know it kind of depends on what region of the U.S. you're in. So it can be very controversial. You know, there's still a lot of people in the U.S. that are like, why doesn't she just cover that up? Like, it's not necessary. But then there's these moms that are like, no, we will breastfeed. That's what boobs are for. And they'll go and do like these sit-in breastfeeding events. Yeah. So it's a big thing in the U.S. It's very controversial right now. But here in Colombia, I think it's more acceptable to kind of just breastfeed in public. I've seen a lot of people do it.
Because I've been on a bus, and I'll tell you, a 20-minute session, I'm just trying to say.
You've been on a bus?
I was a while ago. It was a while ago. It wasn't like in the last 2 years I didn't go on a bus. But I was on a bus, and it was like a 20-minute session. And I don't know, there's a certain level where things just get a little creepy as a guy.
Because
I'm like, yo, we're like right here, and I'm like, it's this out the window or it's over here, and I'm like, fuck, these is like some ugly ass little houses. So, you know, and I don't know. I mean, like, I think it's a natural way to do things. Well, what were you gonna say? I know you. This is your thing. That's your porn. Okay, go ahead.
It's not. It's not.
Okay.
No, but it's true because it's weird because there's always been like a weird social stigma here with that too. Like, I don't know, the shame. Oh, they're exposing the shame, which is strange to me. Like, I understand it now as a natural function. You know, if you gotta do it, you gotta do it right there and there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's impossible not to feel weird out when some women do it very overtly. And like, it's just oh no, don't mind me, I'm just here. No, it's just like everything. It's
I think for
display.
men it's like, because that's like this beautiful sexual object to you guys, and you don't like seeing it used
in that way.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
In that way, that's just not very sexy at all.
Right.
But I think that
Speak
there's
for
also
yourself.
there's also a difference.
Mama's out there. It is sexy. You keep doing it.
No, but I mean,
but I think it's also a thing. It's another one of those things with social classes here in Colombia, which there's such a difference in the social classes. So you'll see like the upper social classes, the estrato 5, 6, and they're covering up.
Are they?
And then the lower social classes, the 2, 3, they're just out there like, this is why my boobs exist, so here you go, right there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird, and I don't know why that is. I have no idea.
But it's the same thing in the United States. I mean, you see the lower class people that live in the projects, like in LA, the mom on the bus is gonna pull out and feed her baby.
But there's a lot of the crunchy moms now that are embracing they're embracing the lactation. They're doing sit-ins, they're going to malls, they're all like, you know, this is what this is for. Everybody can just look and get over it.
Yeah.
So that's an upper class thing.
But here in Colombia, is it so Felipe just said that, you know, it's not a thing here. So it's actually pretty true. I haven't seen too many moms, at least here in Poblado, feeding their babies.
You're not gonna see it.
And you know what I think is really messed up? It's like,
but I have seen pulling out their titties in Poblado.
Yeah.
All right, let's flip out.
My goal was to make her uncomfortable.
She might be a little uncomfortable. I don't know.
All right, cheers to that.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay. Wait.
All right, moving on.
Healthcare. That's what I want to know about.
We want to move on to healthcare. So
I think a lot of.
I skipped you.
Yeah. Oh, we don't. Where's my shot?
Wait, it's here.
All right. Can you pour it?
I'm juggling up.
We're sipping the sangria. We're being normal.
I guess. Well,
sip yours.
A big question for many people that want to either move here or even just visit, and that might have kids or even don't have kids.
Yeah.
Is healthcare in Colombia. So how do you deal with that? I guess at a family level. You guys are living here. Do you guys pay for like private? What do you call it? EPS or what's the EPS or IPS?
The EPS is required by law.
For kids or what in general?
I think
it's required
for everyone, isn't it?
Well, for anybody that's working, I think even if you're an independent contractor, you have to show that you are paying some sort of health insurance. In order for that the person that's paying you or the company that's paying you to actually count it as a deductible as an expense.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. So EPS is like the basic government supplied health insurance, one of them, and I mean that one we have because we have no choice. Like that's just required.
And what does that cost? You get a family discount, 5%.
Oh gosh, that's so cheap. That's I mean family discount, of course. That's like I don't know exactly the amount. I think it's like 150, 160 a month.
Pesos. So that's like 50 US.
That's it?
Yeah, but that's
Well, that's the
EPS.
basic, that's the
EPS
basic.
is not, I mean, that ain't...
Yeah, you're going to be
it's
waiting
not-
in line
That ain't
forever.
shit.
Yeah.
EPS ain't shit.
It's
you
like...
know you heard it.
Okay, we had EPS, only EPS for a while.
Okay.
And I went in because I had like this umbilical hernia, which happens with pregnancy. Nothing crazy, nothing gross. It's just, it's a belly button hernia. Okay.
I always find it weird how women have to apologize for the shit.
Because
that's
I don't
happening.
want you to
Please
think
don't
that it's like some
apologize.
kind of... It's a belly button hernia, all right?
Bro,
So that's what I had.
Girl,
He called you bro.
You can
if
call
I
me.
were to have a baby, that would be the craziest shit ever. But I would not be apologizing about
Okay,
a belly button hernia. You had a baby
All right, I
inside of you.
apologize.
Didn't
for
Felipe have
apologizing, so I
an
did.
umbilical fucking hernia at one point? He took a full day off on that shit, didn't
Yeah.
he? And we thought it was just like a thing that anybody could get.
Yeah,
I
you
knew
Okay,
just-
it
yeah,
was
anybody
just
can
did
get
too
it.
many
well,
sit-ups then.
so
Gotcha.
you get one of those from pregnancy. So
Okay.
I had
Okay.
one of those. I go to EPS. I'm like, look, I need this fixed.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's not a danger to your life. We're not required
Yeah.
to fix that. I'm like,
Oh,
That's when
it's
you
an
insurance.
effing
it's a fucking
hernia.
hernia.
And so
You could say fucking, by the way.
I know, but my mom might watch this.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's
Jaclyn's
Jaclyn's mom. I'm
she says
so
the word
sorry.
fuck, and she says the word fuck in so many ways in Spanish that you don't even want to know. She says the word gonorrhea, which is
I
fucking
do not.
gonorrhea.
I
Yeah.
would never
Say
say that
gonorrhea.
word.
Let's
No.
hear that. Just say it to the camera.
No.
Look into the camera, Jaclyn, please. Look into the camera and say
The gonorrhea. parce.
gonorrhea pass. Just look in it. Come on.
Gonorrhea.
That's what we're talking about. That's what this show is all about. Bringing out the dirt.
All right. So you were saying that EPS
Would
obviously
not
didn't
cover my hernia. And
Okay.
so then
Okay.
I'm like, all right, well, can I talk to somebody else? Like, do you have a supervisor? I'm American, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
where
yeah.
I go.
Yeah, yeah,
And
of
then they're
course.
like,
I'm suing.
and then they're
Let me
like,
see your
they're
supervisor.
like, well, you can try to see a specialist. Just come at 6 a.m. on Tuesday and wait in the line. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh no.
and then
Yeah.
I look at Fido and I'm like, okay, I think it's time. So we
To
to get
level
the
up.
big
Oh,
health insurance.
level up. Okay.
The
Okay.
big boy health
Okay.
insurance. So it's
So where'd
called
you go?
it's called prepagada.
Prepagada.
Yeah.
Prepagada.
Sura
Sura.
global.
All of
what's
us, hey,
up.
Sura's
That's
the
what's
shit.
up. Suda.
Sura's the good stuff.
Sura's the thing. Yeah.
Okay, so here's my problem with the health insurance here. Compared to U.S. health insurance, yes, it is very affordable if you're
Okay.
just comparing, but this is not apples to apples,
No.
all right? So to give you a perspective, I took my baby, my 4-month-old baby once to the ER for like 6 hours. He had something weird. We didn't know, really high fever. They did all these tests, blood tests. He got an IV, everything. We're leaving this place. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be $3,000. We had no insurance at the time. We had just arrived here. I was like, this is going to be like $3,000 or $4,000. I've been to the ER in the U.S. This is terrible. Like, I'm scared.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, that'll be $100, please.
Oh shit.
We were there for like 6 hours. My kid got every test you can get.
Yeah.
So then we're like, okay, that's cool. You know, that's nice and cheap, right?
Yeah,
so we were
right.
expecting $3,000. We paid $100. We're cool.
Yeah.
But then the actual monthly insurance is like, this stuff is like, and I'm going to say it in dollars, it's like $1,000 a month for our family.
What?
Dollars, not pesos. We're talking like
I think
3
I pay
million.
about $200 a month.
We're talking
that's
about
pretty-
3 million
Really?
pesos a
Yeah, we
month.
do. We
No,
pay
no,
nearly
I'm sorry.
600,000.
No, I'm sorry. 3 million pesos every 3 months. I made a mistake.
Okay, so
so
that's
it's
not
1
bad.
million pesos a
Okay,
month.
that makes
It's 1
sense.
million pesos a month. But,
Okay.
but that's a lot of money here.
Yeah, I
It
pay.
is,
I pay
yeah.
nearly
That's
500.
like $1,000. It's about $1,000 every
Like,
3
okay,
months.
get this straight. My husband makes pesos.
Yeah.
He's not making like $5,000 a month in
Yeah,
US dollars.
right.
He's making pesos. So $1 million a month. Sorry, $1 million pesos a month.
$1 million pesos, by the way, everyone watching, is $1 million pesos or listening.
about
So basically, I'm speaking to Andrew's mom.
Yeah.
So anyone that's making so paying $1 million pesos is more or less $300 US.
A little bit more.
Yes.
Oh
That's a little
no,
more.
with
That's a
the
little
conversion
more.
now, yeah.
For the current conversion, but $1 million pesos a month here is a lot
It
of
is a lot of
money.
But anywhere in Canada, our health insurance
Okay,
is free.
well, okay. So, granted that it's $300 a month.
But if you compare, like, okay, if I go to the ER 10 times, I'm still barely paying as much as I would. I'm sorry. I'm still barely paying. If I go to the ER 10 times, I'm still barely paying as much as I would per month for this stuff. So
Yeah,
if you compare
it's
the
true.
price of the health insurance
I
to the
see.
price of actually getting your health care done,
Okay.
particular, out of your pocket.
Well, let's say something.
It doesn't make sense.
But it would make sense, I think, in the respect that if something grave were to happen. Yeah, well,
but that's how
something
insurance
grave.
companies make their money.
Right,
How many times?
Like something grave. Like let's say there was like a bone thing or something that the kid needed to be treated for long term.
But that hasn't happened yet.
But here's what I think. I think for people, at least those that would tune into this show, there's two types of folks. Your scenario is very different in that your husband makes pesos and he came here and he probably works for a local company. If you or local or foreign company paying him,
he owns his own little business. But yeah,
okay,
so
he
makes a business making pesos.
So he's making pesos. If a lot of people who are trying to relocate here, at least, are making money outside. I think a lot. I think the majority are. Most people.
Yeah, I think
so. For somebody who's making money outside or has some source of income, whether it's an Airbnb property, whatever, you've got your family here, at $300 is not a lot. But if you are making money here, that's something that I think we need to make very clear when we talk about money on this show, is that it depends on where you're making that money. Of
course,
because
it's a huge difference.
if you start off making a foreign income and you're paying, it's $300, and then that foreign income dries up, and then you have to make money here. That $300 translates to literally 3 times what you. It's like, holy shit, that's expensive.
And it's funny because I think in pesos now. So if somebody gives me a price,
I do too.
I'll be like, 80,000 pesos.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money. That's like $80.
That's expensive.
Yeah.
But in the U.S. it didn't sound expensive. But yeah, I mean, I still work online and I still make dollars. But I'm also a mom, so
we're
I'm not
coming to that. We're actually coming to that. We're with Andrew. This is the part that Andrew actually loves. I think he loves the business aspect of stuff. Not that I don't, but I think that's a big part of what he likes too, and talking about. And how do you make your money?
Yeah, well, I guess everybody that's listening to this would want to know, what is it that you do to make money here, and obviously afford all these things for your family and do extra things. I'm assuming that you guys do extracurricular things.
Which we'll get to. We'll talk about those.
I know, I'm a content writer.
All right.
But I don't work full time. So I'm still being a mom and raising my kids. I mean, that's one reason that I wanted to live here and one reason I wanted to work from home, so that I could have that flexible schedule and be with my kids. So I'm not a full-time content writer, but yeah, I'm a content writer for a lot of marketing stuff and websites. So that's what I do.
So how did you get into content writing?
It all started back when I was a marketing manager at a company, a long time ago. And I started writing all their copy because I was always kind of a decent writer. It just comes naturally, I guess.
She's actually a really good writer.
Sounds very arrogant.
Hey, wait. Let's pause this for a second.
Wait. Hold on.
Say.
Hold on. So she's downplaying this whole thing, by the way. She's downplaying it because we know her writing style, and we know her how competent she is as a writer.
Well, thank you.
And she's actually written a couple pieces for more than a couple pieces for Red Door Studios.
Yeah.
In the drug and alcohol rehab space, which is a tough thing to write about because it's very
niche.
Make it
interesting.
And it's very niche. It's not something that you could just like, I'm going to research it and I'm going to write about it.
Yeah.
It's actually something that you have to get into, put your actual heart and soul into, and to resonate with other addicts and maybe family members of addicts and so on and so forth. So going back to the question, you're a content writer.
Yes.
So how do you get your clients while living in Colombia that are in the United States?
I mean, it's like a hustle. You just have to apply to everything. So I'll go onto all these remote websites. We work remotely is one of them.
Dark web or what?
Wait, no, not dark web.
Regular
I don't know if she's a dark web writer. I heard about that. I watched a documentary.
You don't even know what the talk. He thinks the dark web is just full of black people.
I like to.
You are the dark web.
I am the dark web. No. Listen, when I Google some shit, when I Wikipedia some shit, I like to bring it out on this show, like dark web, motherfuckers. I watched a documentary about the dark web, and I would like to know if Jaclyn frequents that web or not.
I have no idea what that is. So I don't know what dark web is, but I go onto these rooms.
I'll send you a link.
He doesn't even know.
I'll send you a link. I don't even know how to get on the
I need to
motherfucking
know.
dark web.
So I look for these. There's certain websites that offer jobs to remote positions, because obviously I'm not gonna be working in an office.
Yeah.
So I just go to all these websites for remote positions and I just apply.
Like what? Give us one. Give the people watching, again, Andrew's mom, because no one else watches this.
WeWorkRemotely.com.
We work remotely. I've
Give
never
me a
been
second
there.
one.
What, like Upwork?
Flexjobs.com has a lot of good ones.
WeWorkRemotely.com
And
FlexJobs.com.
So this type of thing.
Never heard of it.
That kind of jobs. And then I
Little
I
chicken
just
arms.
apply to a billion things.
Yeah.
Until I find the client for me. And so you end up having to write a lot of test articles, and it's very annoying. But over time, I've gotten some good clients.
That's awesome. Because a lot of people actually, they'll write to us thinking that we're hiring like at will at Red Door Studios.
Yeah.
Oh, we got like 5 writers already.
Yeah, well, one day we'll zoom around here and let you guys see how small this fucking room is. Our bathroom's right here. We shower here.
Yeah, it's a bucket.
It's a bucketshowers.com.
All right. Well, so you're a remote writer, and that's how you make your money. So I guess when we're talking about like extracurricular things, what do you do in Medellin? What do you do with your family apart from obviously spending time at home?
I mean, there's a lot of things to do, a lot to do, and you have to be kind of willing to get up and be adventurous and go out and explore, because it's not all online. It's not like in the United States where it's all perfectly mapped out.
Yep.
No, you have to just get out there and find it. But yeah, I mean, we go to parks. We do the ciclovia.
What's your favorite part?
I love Parque El Salado.
El Salado, en
Envigado.
Envigado. Oh, it's
What's
so
good
nice.
about that? What would kids love about that?
The river that they can just run around and get wet and swim in. There's a really cool creek river thing that the kids love to swim around in, and it's beautiful, and you can kind of hike, but the hikes aren't hard, and they have a little playground. It's very nice. It's really really nice.
And so what else? What other things, like what can I guess families, because I would think that, I think like you're in the United States, you're in Canada, there's tons of balls, which Colombia has also, in case any of you don't know. Man, when I go to Canada, I look at it and I think like...
I thought you said balls.
There's a lot of balls everywhere, man. There's children being made.
Malls. Did you hear
heard balls?
I heard
Maybe
balls.
I dropped my
I'm
face.
like, there's a lot of balls in Colombia.
I legit thought you said balls.
There's a lot of malls.
Yeah.
You thought I said balls?
Balls.
I heard balls.
There's a lot of balls in Colombia?
No, in
You
the
said
U.S.
that.
Come on, man. What kind of show is this? A lot of malls.
I'm asking you what kind
There's
of
a lot of malls.
Okay,
Malls in the United States and Canada. And I find when I go
Say
back to
shopping
Canada,
center.
there are so many shopping centers.
Commercial centers.
Commercial centers in Canada, especially because it gets cold. And I feel that the hub of entertainment for a family in Canada, especially when the 4 months of warmth goes, they get out of the the cottage country and whatever, it's a mall. So, I think like a lot of people that would want to know, like, what the hell is there to do as a family when you're here? What do you do? What does a weekend look like? You're working, your husband's working, weekend comes around. What's the things to do?
We do spend time in the malls. And that's it's a very Colombian cultural thing. Like, we have all the in-laws. Yeah, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law. And so they love to go to the malls and eat in a nice restaurant and go to the movies. So yeah, we do that because, I mean, there's a whole big Colombian family and we like to spend time with them.
Yeah.
It's like Sunday is family day already. That's just reserved.
Yeah.
But I try to encourage them, and force my husband and my kids to go out and explore sometimes too. We go to the parks, we go to the ciclovia. They have cool places like these little farms where your kids can go and, pet the farm animals. And it's not like the U.S. where, they're afraid you're going to sue them if you get too close to a llama and it bites you. It's not like that. So you can just go and like actually play with these animals, which is really fun.
And what do they look as your kids? What do they look forward to I'm sure that they look forward to something on a Saturday, like, you guys are free Saturday, Sunday. What are they looking forward to do here?
I mean, they love it. They're so easy to please. They love it all. They want to go to the farm. They want to go to the little creek that's down the street.
Sounds
and just
exactly
get wet
like Andrew.
And play in the mud and take the dog there and just
When I was a kid, I used to love it.
Wait, I'm talking about now. What do you mean when you were a kid?
Now,
Easy to
this
please,
weekend,
to play in the mud. Tell us all the things, Andrew. Come on, as a kid.
This
are
is a
kid.
family show, Joel. Play
There's
in the
no
mud?
Who's a family?
Play in the mud?
Anyways. All right, never mind. We're gonna stop about that because I just envisioned Andrew rolling around the mud in a little thong, and no one wants to see that on this show.
But this
I do
weekend
play in the
we're
mud,
going to a
though.
big Halloween party.
Oh yeah, and what do? You told us about. What are you gonna sew? I don't know. Is that how you do it, or you? No, one needle.
Yeah, I don't.
Not two needles.
I don't sew, but I do pay people to sew for me.
That's what. Oh shit! I just. That's what I'm talking about. Yo,
Colombia. It's so
Because
you do. Yeah, wait.
All right,
That's a good.
Well, that comes to my next question. So, all right, so we talked about obviously school. We talked about going out and doing things with your family, healthcare. What about like having someone helping you at home to take care of your kids? In the United States, I remember when I was a kid, my parents would leave me with the neighbor, and the neighbor would show us horror movies. And and it was like some Mexican neighbor. That he was awesome though. He was awesome, but and granted, it was not the best situation. So how do you deal with that here?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's one of the perks of living here is we have our full-time empleada.
Full time.
Which just
wait.
translates to
Full
worker.
time. What does full time mean? Like 8 hours a day or?
Full time is 48 hours a week.
48 hours.
All
week.
right.
So that's Monday to Saturday.
Yes, Saturday's half day.
Okay.
So yeah, we have her there, and it makes my quality of life, me personally, because before I was doing most of the cooking and cleaning.
Yeah.
And so it makes my quality of life 1,000 times better.
Is she a stay-in?
No.
Oh,
we don't have the room.
That room's fucked up though.
Because when I was a kid, that was super common. And I think
it still is.
Is it because I feel like it's gotten less and less common.
Because the apartments don't have it anymore. They don't. A lot of apartments don't have that little.
The new
room.
ones, the new apartments don't have that little. So
the
for those
tiny
of you,
closet thing.
for those of you listening or watching that are not familiar with Colombian culture, sometimes when you go rent an apartment, you'll find that by the kitchen or in the back there will be an extra room with a full bathroom. By the way,
full like a half full.
Yeah, well, it's like a shower and a toilet,
a closet bathroom.
Yeah, and that's where the maid would stay because she would be a living maid.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in California, I mean, I met, I had friends that were very well off, and they also had, instead of obviously a live-in maid in her little maid's quarters, they had a maid house or whatever.
Oh wow!
Yeah, they had the.
I would prefer to have a maid. Like honestly, I find it. I find it a bit. Right now, we're remodeling a place, and I actually feel like I'm doing justice to this world
by removing
squish down that fucking maid room because
make our kitchen bigger.
Yeah, make my own kitchen big, but apart from that, it's like it's a little room that you guys will notice if you rent a spot here that hasn't been renovated. You get into the kitchen, and if you walk to the end of the kitchen, there's a little thing that's squeezed into the back with a tiny little bathroom. I'm going to describe it properly, and a little room where the person that cleans your house and takes care of your kids or whatever sleeps. And I think that, to me, that's pretty fucked up. Like,
I mean, I don't think it's fucked up though. You know why? Because that's where she sleeps. That's not where she lives.
No, I mean,
her house is bigger than that.
But like, if somebody's taking care of your children, and somebody's in your house around your money and your stuff and whatever, integrate that person into your house. Don't push them in the back of a little hole at the back of the house, like sad. The help. And it's for me, it's really ridiculous. Like I would say, if I had a guest room, because there's people here, and I know it, that still maintain that type of classist bullshit, where it's like you've got 3 bedrooms. There's a perfect bedroom that no one's used in the last 2 years because you haven't had a goddamn guest. And the maid is in a little tiny
because
corner.
They don't want to spoil the maid.
Exactly, and these are topics that I think, like in the U.S. and Canada, we don't have to deal with. Well, at least from a middle to
we're not part of the 5% there.
You're right. They may still be doing that, but that's something that goes on here. So one of the things is you rent a house, you go in there, you'll see that fucked up little room, which I think they should do like little horror movies and film like fucked up shit back there.
No, but I disagree to a point.
Okay.
I disagree to a point because I think that you're giving a job to somebody that wouldn't have a job. And you're not paying them, someone that's living in, you're not paying them 48 hours a week. You're paying them to be a salaried employee plus benefits.
It is a salary.
Social Security and the Social Security in Colombia, healthcare, and cesantías,
Yeah.
and prima.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is a full-time employee. It's not like
Agreed.
It's not like you're pushing them to the back, and they're part of your family too. You're feeding them.
We're gonna bounce off this, but I'm gonna contradict that point. I'm gonna count that point for a second. We have people that work for us.
Yes,
We don't give them their own fucking bathroom.
I would.
We don't.
I would if she literally.
No.
lived
You
there
don't
with
give.
me.
You don't give the people that work for us their own bathroom and their own eating table. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm saying that we integrate people that work with us into our lives on a.
Yeah, but we're not talking
deeper-
about people that work for us and that sleep in our fucking. They don't sleep here. They don't sleep here. If they lived here, I'd give them their own room and their own bathroom.
away from everyone else.
No, just so
That's
that
what
they
I'm
feel
saying.
privileged, like they feel like they have their own space. I mean, I guess this is.
But you see you get what I'm saying. I don't know what. Okay, what
I
is
see what
your?
you mean.
Let's hear. What is your take on that? Because these are the type of things we want to talk about. What do you think if you walked into a house, right? You went to visit one of your friends. Let's say one of your. Because this show or this podcast is going to be listened to by more foreigners.
You never watch Frasier?
No, I'm.
You're an army brat. You never watched
yeah.
TV.
She watched.
I watched
MASH.
TV. I
MASH.
didn't watch Frasier though.
MASH.
Frasier is awesome, and
No, it's not.
you have to watch Frasier. And he had a living maid or assistant for his father, and she lived there, and she had her own bathroom and everything, and it was like her room, and she was part of the family, but it was her own space.
Yeah.
Like, and I believe that that's the way that you should treat someone that
Behind
works
the
for you.
kitchen.
Well, it was
I
not
see
in
what
the
you're
kitchen.
saying.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I see both.
I'm saying-
I see both points of view.
All right. Where would you
do-
put your? Where would you if your empleada, which literally translates to employee or housekeeper, that stayed there permanently? Would you put her behind the kitchen, or would you like to accommodate her a little more?
I mean, if I had the room and the space, I would definitely want to give her a decent bedroom.
Okay, that's it. That's
However,
uh-huh.
if I didn't have the space and the money
Yeah.
and
And
the
you-
extra bedroom,
Right.
Of
Okay.
course.
and that's all I had,
That's all you
and
had.
she wanted to live there because she didn't want to have to pay rent somewhere else,
That's a different story.
then I would give her that room.
Yeah.
But I don't have that room.
Mark.
So,
Yeah,
but I
exactly.
I will
Sometimes-
say that it's amazing to have her. Like I haven't
Yeah.
scrubbed a toilet in 5 years.
I haven't. I think I loaded up. This sounds like elitist and crazy, but
This guy.
I,
Oh, time to take a shot.
wait.
All
I
right.
poured Jaclyn a shot, but
No, that's your shot.
That's
no,
a big shot.
Jaclyn's already got
I
her
got
shot.
mine.
wait.
Cheers.
And we're gonna talk about that right now because I think it's very, very important for women listening to this. By the way, you guys can write, comment, whatever you want. If you think that you shouldn't hire somebody like that and that's blah 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 blah, because we get that. But listen to this for a second. When I told my sister, I said, honestly, we were just having like a casual conversation. I said, I loaded up the washing machine once last year. And that's to be fucking quite honest.
Yes.
I have washed dishes, meaning a sink full of dishes, once this year, maybe. A full one, I mean, like even a half stacked sink. And somebody's like, oh yeah, well, you think you're fucking blah, blah. I'm like, no.
They have that impression.
Exactly, but it's not like that. Firstly, for those, and this is my opinion, and you guys wait.
Yeah,
I think that when you hire somebody who, and Andrew and I know that because we had this woman, she is, 60 years old. She's begging us to paint her walls for some extra money. I'm like, fuck, you like my mother? You can't paint my walls.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you know what I mean? And they just wanted to make extra money. When we said we moved her, we used to hire her for 1 day every 2 weeks. Then we moved up to 1 day every week, and then we moved up to 2 days and 3 days and whatever. They appreciate that more than anything. And I think unless you're an elitist, and I've seen these Facebook groups where people think they should come here and act like kings and everyone is under them. But if you are any sort of a good person, when you hire somebody like that, you bring them into your family.
Yes.
You change many lives because usually they have a son, a daughter, husband, wife, whatever. You hire somebody, you're changing many lives.
No,
and you are
that's
changing your
totally
life at the
true.
same time. You're not washing dishes.
No.
yeah. And actually, to add to that, if you hire someone that works in your location for a certain amount of time, they actually should be a salaried employee.
Of course.
And if you fire them, they are actually privy to what they call here. What do they call it here? Liquidación. Liquidación. So, like for example, if you were to fire your living, or not even living maid, your maid that came 4 times a week to your house, she could sue you and would win in court.
And they're actually one of the most protected. Actually, look it up. Maybe I'm talking bullshit. I'd love somebody to like, call me out on this, but I think like, for example, if you have an empleada, a maid that works for you, and she's been working over a certain period of time for you, and she gets pregnant, for example, on your while she's working for you.
While she's working, yeah.
You pay a lot of her health care.
Oh yeah.
Because
you pay all of their health care. Exactly. If they're full time, you pay their health care.
Exactly. So they are protected, and it's not like because people have like a very crazy impression of Colombia, and when it comes to stuff like maids and stuff, if you've never had somebody that can wash your own dishes and stuff, you're like, oh yeah, that's elitist. It's not even elitist. It's a different cultural thing here, and they are protected.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and they have rights, and you pay them, there's like a half-year bonus, there's a full-year bonus. That's actually a lot of money.
Of course.
And it's so helpful to them, because to them that's so much money, and it helps them so much. And there's not enough jobs to go around in Colombia. There's so much poverty.
And I think it's
really
even better
sad.
for you being a mother. Like, honestly, I respect that, because my sister's a mother of 2, and honestly, I respect all mothers. I don't even know. I don't really think I want kids, firstly, but because it's such a responsibility.
It's hard. It's
right?
It's not
like
easy.
for a mother to have somebody to help out while you're trying to make a living also, I think it's like amazing. So I think that's one
amazing,
of the big positives here. Like, and
I mean, that's why my mom will ask me, sometimes she used to ask me, well, when are you coming back? Like, why don't you come back to the U.S.? She misses me, of course.
Yeah. Right.
Poor mom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't know. It's like, we're living pretty good here. I'm happy. She's like, you just like to have a maid. And I'm like, well, kind of.
Yeah, of course.
I kind of do like to have a maid. Like, and I'm even hesitant to. The other day, she celebrated her birthday. We bought her a cake. We got her a present. We sang her the song. She blew out her candles. And she took some pictures, and I was thinking maybe I should, post a little picture to Instagram and be like, thank you so much for everything you do.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Yeah.
Because all my friends in the U.S. are going to be like,
oh, yeah, you're being a cocky bastard.
She has a maid. She just wants to show off that she has a maid. It's not like that. She's a part of our family.
Yeah.
My grandma actually said to me, and it was rough to me when she looked at me and she said, when are you going to come back to reality? And I was like, reality? You just went out and bought your groceries. Like, you fetched groceries in your reality. And I'm like, I mean, personally, if we didn't want to do that, which we still do.
I can't remember the last time I bathed myself. So moving on.
Shut up.
Wait.
Back up.
I want to add a little bit to that conversation because
we got the Colombian talk. Can you talk about it?
No, for me it's interesting because I'm son of a single mother.
Yeah.
You're a single mother?
Yes, I am. And for as long as I can remember, like
you're sitting like a single mother. Look at you.
My my parents never lived together, so all I remember is my mom leaving for work in the morning, and we had a stay-in.
Yeah.
And basically, I grew up with
several stay-in mate.
Yeah. Several ones because, unfortunately, these people in these types of unfortunate situations sometimes make mistakes or misjudge some things, right? Before you ask, not one of them touched me.
Yeah.
I know you would.
I was gonna ask that.
Yep.
You didn't leave your virginity to your maid?
Like stealing. There was one that was very unfortunate. My mom came early from work and found her laying in her bed, in my mom's bed, with all of my mom's underwear and
That's
shit.
hot, man.
Yeah.
You guys should have sold that on.
No, that
didn't happen.
It's
That
super
did happen.
fucked up.
That
did happen.
Yeah.
Was her name Michael Hernandez?
Okay, I'm
Yes,
getting
it was.
cameras. This is weird.
Yeah.
I need some cameras in my house.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah, it is.
Imagine finding our maid.
I mean, I've heard a
with
lot of
Joel's underwear laying around.
I've heard a lot
You
of
got big
stealing
ugly.
stories. I haven't heard that story before. That's
Yeah,
a
I
new
know.
one.
Were you laying beside her when that happened?
No, I was in school. I was in my private school.
I pay her extra for that.
Yo, man, seriously, this is not like, I mean, that sounds like, I was, and you know, one of the questions we wanted to ask about schooling here is I was 10 years old when I first really moved to Canada, call it full time because I bounced around also. It's not army, it doesn't sound as tough. My dad worked for an international organization, so we moved around. And the teacher invited me out to watch a hockey game.
Interesting.
In Canada. And so I went out and I took my dad's favorite hat, bundled up, went out to this hockey game. One of the biggest things was I lost my dad's hat, which was one of his favorite like Rasta hats because he had like big fucking hair and stuff. And I lost it and I never hear the end of that. And Dad, if you're watching this, which he does apparently, and that's fucked up. I lost that hat and literally 6 months later, the teacher, who I saw a photo of for the first time since I was 10 years today, 10 years old, got arrested for child molestation.
Oh no.
And so my parents, I think, for my entire time from when I was 10 to 20, really wanted to know what happened to me. And I'm like, man, this is all natural. Like, there's no one touched me. No one did whatever. But it's really fucking crazy. And I wonder if here in Colombia, how do you feel in terms of, again, nothing happened to me, mom, dad. But here in Colombia, I think Andrew told me, because Andrew loves some serial killer, like documentary stuff. And the biggest child molester, raper, killer in the world is, what's his name?
Garavito. Garavito has actually claimed that he raped and killed more than 300 children. And he was convicted for about 100, and he actually took police to the grave. And since Colombia only has a death penalty of 45 years, he was only going to do less than 50% of that.
Was he Colombian?
He's Colombian.
Yeah, he's Colombian, and he raped and killed kids across the Colombian Ecuadorian border. There's a documentary about him on YouTube. His name is Garavito, which he should be dead by now, by the way. And
but he's alive and thriving.
And if I were to see him, I'd probably strangle him with my own hands, and I would probably
over 100 kids. He said around 300.
He said around 300.
Yeah, and he's Colombian, by the way. That's something that watches some
So
documentaries.
the fucked up thing about the Colombian justice system, thanks to Catholicism, which is another story that I hate, the maximum death penalty or there is no death penalty.
There's no death penalty. It's like a life sentence.
There's no life sentence,
No?
and there is no perpetual life sentence.
You can't give somebody 3 life sentences.
No, there's no perpetual life sentences. So he got a life sentence, which is 45 years in Colombia. And out of those 45 years, you usually do about 85% of your sentence. But since overpopulation, he was only going to do about 35% of his sentence.
Yeah.
So after 15 years of being convicted and being in jail, he was going to be freed. And this was a few years ago.
No.
But he got caught back in a technicality. And it was he actually thanked the fact that he was caught on that technicality and he's
So he
back
could
in
stay
jail,
in, right?
So that he could stay in, because he said that if he were free, he would do the same thing over and over again. Or he was probably fearing death because anybody out in the, I mean, I can't believe anybody that would see this man would not kill this man on the spot. Like I would go to 45 years in jail just to kill this man.
Just kill a man.
But that being said, back to your statement.
So the reason that I brought that up, and just so to give some emphasis to the question I was about to ask, is you've got kids here. What do you feel? And I think safety for a lot of people, they're like, man, it looks nice. It's got nice beaches. It's got nice parquilleras. It's got nice, whatever. I'm embellishing a bit, but it looks great. But I'm about to take my kids there. What do you feel about safety? Like, do you feel safe with your kids, or what does that feel like for you?
I feel safe, but I will say that I watch them a little closer when I'm
Here
here
than in the States.
when I'm here.
Okay.
And it's not because I feel granted, Colombia in general is more dangerous if you just look at the numbers than the United States in general, right?
Yeah.
That's not why. It's because my kids look different than the other kids. I look different than the other people here, and I feel like when I'm out with them, I may potentially be a target.
You may potentially.
We may potentially be a target.
She may be. You're the magnet. I guarantee your kids.
Because people might assume we have money because we're.
Of course.
Oh, look, there's a gringa. She must have money.
Yeah.
And or because my kids look different than the other kids, so they might be more attractive or more. I don't know what.
Yeah.
But so yes, I keep a closer eye on my kids here maybe than I would in the U.S. But things can happen anywhere. You know, anywhere.
Oh, so okay, that's absolutely true. So I don't think that in the United States, if you were a mom or a dad coming here, that you would leave your kids sitting in like a grocery cart in the middle of the the grocery store and walk away, because you'd probably be protective of your kid.
Yeah.
But the thing is do you think that, would you say that it's safe? How would you describe Colombia if someone were coming here, like they're gonna ask you that? Your family members probably think, Are you all right?
Mm-hmm.
Are the kids all right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about when people ask you like, "Oh, are you all right?" Like it's probably a little condescending, where you're like, "Listen, I'm not in Afghanistan in the middle of the fucking war right now."
No, it's not that.
What do you feel like when people ask you those questions?
It's not as bad as people think it is. I mean, I personally have never been robbed. I have never been mistreated in any way.
Yeah.
I've never even seen a robbery. That's not to say they don't happen.
Yeah.
I know they do.
Yeah.
It's never happened to me, thank God. Nothing's ever happened to me and my kids. Do I know that I need to be more cognizant, more aware when I'm out in public? Yes. But I do also tend to stick to areas that I'm familiar with, that I know are safe when I'm with my kids. Okay. We stay in El Poblado, Envigado, places we know. Laureles is fine. And my husband works in El Estadio, which is not as, it doesn't feel quite as safe. It doesn't feel like it's in my bubble, right?
Yeah.
But when we go there, I'm on high alert. Like my kids are here. I've got them within my reach. Like, so when we go to places that I don't feel as safe, I'm on high alert. I keep them very close. I have a hand on each of them. But when we're in El Poblado, Envigado, these areas that I'm very comfortable.
But do you ever feel what you're talking about in the United States?
No.
But I don't know, Andrew. I mean, I don't know anything about Los Angeles.
If I went to Southeast LA,
would you be like that?
Of course.
Okay, see, I don't know about that. Like, I don't know about that. In Toronto, I don't know. Toronto people call me out on my bullshit. But even in the roughest of fucking areas in Toronto, and there's some rough fucking areas, as people might not think. But the whole thing about having your kid, and it happens, and it has happened. But and I'm not a parent, so I don't know about, like, you're walking around Jane and Finch, bigging you guys up right now, like Jane and Finch area, you're walking your kids there. You don't grab your kid because you think somebody's gonna take your kid and run away. Do you know what I mean?
No, like, I'm watching. I make sure I have my eyes on them. Like, and then that's
but is it about a kidnapping
areas.
thing? Like, because I know. Listen, movies are huge. Movies influence who we are, how we think about places, and whatever. We're going to Mexico soon. A lot of movies, a lot of news is going to influence the way that we behave, things we do. Do you feel like, because I'm sure that there's people going, wow, Colombia, it's magical, it's whatever, but I'm afraid of my kids getting kidnapped. What do you think about kids getting kidnapped? Like,
I know that I'm sure it happens, just like it happens anywhere. But I don't feel like, I don't know, I don't really feel like somebody's going to kidnap my kid outside of my home or something like that. It might, I mean, if I went to like El Hueco in the middle of the night with my kids, then I would be like, damn, this is dangerous. I'm scared.
I would ask you what you're doing out there,
I'm really
Jaclyn.
scared right now. But in my area where I stay in the because I know where the good areas are. I don't go to go to those places with my kids. But like, as long as we're in the good areas, I don't really feel scared like it's that unsafe or dangerous. But I do try to keep an eye on them. I try to keep my eyes on my kids. I'm not going to be just hanging out on my phone, ignoring them while they're running around.
Can I tell you something right now? I have to piss so badly. You guys can cut. We're going to cut. So I think it's a very complicated thing to do mathematics at this point in the night. But if I can go backwards or forwards, 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 6... 5?
Almost 6 years.
3. So almost 6 years you've been here. And your husband, one of the reasons you came here, if not the main reason you came here, was because he wanted to come back home, set up shop, experience life, get somebody that can work full time, and you don't ever have to wash again. That's probably the whole thing. So what moving forward, do you see yourself? It's like a 2-part, 10-part closing question, because I love to do this to these guys because they want to wrap shit up and I just want to keep going. But do you see yourself moving back home to the United States, Arkansas, wherever it is? Yes, no, why yes, why no? What's the future hold for you?
I'm happy here. I love the school that my kids are in. It's nice having a big family that's all in one place, because of course I adore my family, but they're all very separated. They're all very far apart. Yeah. There's no, 2 people that live in the same state except for my 2 parents, and that's it. Okay. So it would, I like having that huge family support there. I like the school. I like the culture. So I don't see myself leaving. And I think the only way that we would leave would be if some huge disaster happened, something terrible happened, and then we wanted to go. But for me, I'm happy here and I like it. I'm really, for my family, I think it's the best thing.
What about the people at home that are just so worried about you living down in Pablo Escobar's neighborhood, and the friends that are like, oh my God, like, are you all right? Like, what do you have to say? Because I remember, when I came here, I dealt, even from my own family, I would say a certain level of, and I understand a family member being concerned. But I heard comments and stuff that made me feel like, relax, I'm actually better than you guys right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, go work your full-time job. Yes. And come home, wash your dishes, change your diapers, take out, do everything. You be that superhero. So what do you?
I of course, like any mother would want her daughter to be close to her. So of course my parents, mother and father, my parents, would love for me to come back and live in Kentucky, which is where they are right now. But my quality of life here is so much better, and there's not a lot of job opportunities for my husband probably in Kentucky. He's a Colombian man. He has a strong accent in English. Yeah. And so I think that I don't know. I don't think that our quality of life would be anything close to what we have here if we moved to somewhere like that. So as much as I would like to move back, we're just happier here and we're safe. Like, I don't ever feel threatened. I've never been robbed. I've never felt like I'm unsafe here. And granted, I know where to go. I know where I avoid dangerous situations. You won't see me wandering around drunk in Lleras at 2 a.m. Like, that's not going to happen. But yeah, so I take care of myself and my kids, but I feel safe. I like it here. I like the culture, the school. There's so many things I love here. And I just can't see myself back there. I don't think I would be happy there anymore.
Amazing. After only 5 short years. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Well, that was my question. I want to know. So your plan to stick around, anything else for you?
Well, I just want to thank you for coming on the podcast. Everybody that wants to connect with the Medellin Moms or International Medellin Moms, what's that group again?
Medellin International Moms.
Medellin International Moms on Facebook, right?
Yes.
And anybody that wants to follow us, make sure to subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Just look up Medellin Podcast. You could also find us on Instagram. You can find us on Google Podcast and iTunes.
iTunes.
Or Apple Podcast, sorry. Apple Podcast.
There you go. It only took you 11
episodes.
Do I get a free hat now? Like,
you will get a free hat.
Give her that hat.
You can have this hat. Actually, I have an extra one. And thank you for Rob LaFon for hooking it up. Always giving a shout out to Hija Mia. Giving a shout out to Dharma. Giving a shout out to my mom. Yeah. Everybody that's listening.
And I want to give my final shout out to Jaclyn on this one. And honestly speaking, man, if you have an American business that you're not here trying to pay somebody 5,000 pesos an hour, and you want somebody that's a top quality writer. I will put my ass on the line. You can write me. You can text me. You can Instagram
If she doesn't do a good job, we will pay whatever the
that
fuck
shit
she charged.
So get in contact with us. You want somebody to write solid content for you, and I know that our clients are super happy because Jaclyn has written a lot of, I would say, the best pieces that our clients have, and we're talking about multi-million-dollar businesses. If you guys want to reach out and you need somebody to write content and you're willing to pay fair wages for that, she lives here, and I'm sure that if the shit's good and you're legit, she'll definitely do an amazing job for you. Thank you so much for being here.
No,
Honestly,
thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
Amazing.
This was fun.
That's
amazing.
High five.
High five.
Yeah.
High
I
five.
love it.
Another
See
one
you later. I can't reach. How about a finger touch?